Imagine being on a ship in the middle of the ocean when suddenly armed pirates appear on the horizon. This isn't a movie plot. It's a real-life nightmare faced by crews worldwide. As the Russian commandos descend on the hijacked ship, will their daring rescue operation succeed, or will it spiral into a catastrophic showdown on the high seas? The story begins in the vast expanse of the Gulf of Aden, a stretch of water that's become infamous as a hunting ground for modern-day pirates. On May 5, 2010, the MV Moscow University, a massive Russian oil tanker, was plowing through these treacherous waters. Little did its crew know, they were about to become the target of one of the most daring pirate attacks in recent memory. The day started like any other for the 23 crew members aboard the Moscow University. The ship was carrying a precious cargo, 86,000 tons of crude oil worth a staggering $52 million. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, sharp-eyed lookouts spotted several small boats racing towards them across the waves. In an instant, the mood on board shifted from routine to panic. They were under attack by Somali pirates. The crew sprang into action, unleashing a barrage of defenses. Water cannons blasted powerful streams at the approaching skiffs, creating walls of spray. Flare guns fired brilliant streaks into the sky, their red glare a desperate call for help. The massive ship swerved and turned, its wake churning the sea into foam as it attempted to outmaneuver the nimble pirate boats. For an hour, this high-stakes game of cat and mouse played out on the open ocean, but the pirates were relentless. Eventually, the Moscow University's speed dropped to just 9 knots. The pirates saw their chance and seized it. Using grappling hooks and assault ladders, they began to swarm up the sides of the oil tanker like ants on a sugar cube. The ship's captain, realizing the gravity of the situation, made a series of quick decisions that would end up saving their lives. He ordered the crew to hide all essential supplies in the steering compartment. Then came his masterstroke. He told the entire crew to lock themselves in the ship's radar and engine rooms. As the pirates finally gained control of the ship's deck, they found themselves in a strange situation. They had the ship, but no crew to control. The hijackers tried twice to break into the engine room, but the thick steel doors held firm. Inside, the crew huddled in tense silence, hoping against hope that help would arrive before the pirates found a way in. Help was indeed on its way. The Russian destroyer Marshal Shaposhnikov had received the distress call and was racing to the rescue. As dawn broke on May 6, the stage was set for a daring rescue mission. The Marshal Shaposhnikov announced its presence with 2 thunderous warning shots. But the pirates, perhaps not realizing what they were up against, made a fatal mistake. They opened fire on a helicopter from the Russian ship. What followed was like a scene from an action movie. The warship's cannons provided covering fire as a helicopter swooped down towards the Moscow University. From the chopper, a team of elite Russian naval infantry commandos rappelled onto the deck of the oil tanker. These highly trained soldiers moved with lightning speed, securing the ship section by section. A brief but intense gun battle erupted, the crack of gunfire echoing across the water. When the smoke cleared, all 23 crew members of the Moscow University were rescued without a scratch. The pirates were captured, and in a controversial move, were later set adrift in a small boat far from the Somali coast. But the drama on the high seas was far from over. Fast forward to January 2024, and we find ourselves witnessing another audacious pirate attack, this time on the MV Lila Norfolk. It was a calm Friday evening when the tranquility of the Arabian Sea was shattered by an urgent SOS call. The MV Lila Norfolk, an 84,000-ton bulk carrier, was navigating the treacherous waters near the coast of Somalia when it came under attack. The distress signal was clear. 5 or 6 armed individuals had forcefully boarded the ship, putting the lives of its 21 crew members, including 15 Indians, in grave danger. The Indian Navy, always on high alert in these pirate-infested waters, sprang into action. Resources were immediately deployed, with the frontline warship INS Chennai, which was on anti-piracy patrol, swiftly changing course to intercept the hijacked vessel. As the INS Chennai raced towards the Lila Norfolk, the skies above the hijacked ship filled with the roar of maritime patrol aircraft, the thrum of helicopters, and the buzz of Predator MQ-9B drones. It was a show of force designed to intimidate the pirates and reassure the trapped crew. On January 8th, 3 days after the initial attack, the Indian Navy executed a daring maneuver. An advanced P-8I aircraft, equipped with state-of-the-art surveillance technology, swooped in low over the hijacked vessel. The aircraft broadcast a series of stern warnings to the pirates, creating a palpable tension on board the Lila Norfolk. The unexpected intervention by the P-8I aircraft had an immediate effect. The pirates, realizing the gravity of their situation and the imminent threat of a forceful response, were gripped by fear. That fear swiftly turned into a desperate bid for escape. In a surprising turn of events, the pirates abandoned their unlawful seizure of the MV Lila Norfolk, fleeing the scene to evade capture. The Indian Navy, still unaware of the pirates' escape, gathered other assets in preparation to surround the area. Moving with stealth and precision, naval forces boarded the Norfolk. They swiftly sanitized the vessel, only to realize the absence of the hijackers. The pirates had jumped ship, their nerve broken by the Navy's prompt and forceful intervention. While the Lila Norfolk incident ended without bloodshed, not all pirate attacks have such fortunate outcomes. Perhaps the most tragic and intense of recent pirate encounters was the attack on the SV Quest in February 2011. The Quest, an American yacht, was sailing off the coast of Oman when it was suddenly surrounded by pirate skiffs. Unlike the massive tankers and cargo ships that are the usual targets of Somali pirates, the Quest was a small pleasure craft. On board were 4 Americans, Scott and Jean Adam, a retired couple from California, and their friends Phyllis McKay and Bob Riggle. The pirates, 19 in total, quickly overwhelmed the small yacht and took the 4 Americans hostage. What followed was a tense 4-day standoff that would end in tragedy. As soon as news of the hijacking reached the U.S. Navy, a response was mobilized. The aircraft carrier USS Enterprise, along with the guided missile cruiser USS Lady Gulf and the guided missile destroyers USS Sterett and USS Bulkley, were dispatched to intercept the Quest. For days, the U.S. warships shadowed the tiny yacht as it was sailed towards the Somali coast. Negotiations were attempted, with 2 pirates even boarding the USS Sterett to engage in talks. The Navy offered to let the pirates keep the yacht in exchange for the hostages, but the offer was refused. The situation reached a critical point on February 22nd. Without warning, a rocket-propelled grenade was fired from the Quest at the USS Sterett. It missed, but the message was clear. The pirates were not going to give up easily. Moments later, gunfire erupted from the yacht. The Navy, fearing for the hostages' lives, launched an immediate assault. A team of Navy SEALs fast-roped onto the Quest from helicopters, engaging the pirates in close-quarters combat. The battle was brief but fierce. In the chaos, 2 pirates were killed by rifle fire and another by a SEAL's combat knife. But as the smoke cleared, a grim discovery was made. All 4 American hostages had been shot by the pirates. Despite immediate medical attention, none survived. The remaining pirates surrendered, with 13 taken into custody. 2 more pirates were found dead on board, though the circumstances of their deaths remained unclear. In the aftermath, the captured pirates were brought to the United States to face justice, eventually receiving life sentences. What do you think? Did the Navy use excessive force against the pirates, or did they get what they deserved? Share your thoughts in the comments below.